Hello there, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Taylor. Today, I'm very excited I don't get excited that often when plugins release, unless they are, of course, one knob plugins from Bogren Digital. These are some of my favorite plugins, and just for their efficiency. We're gonna get into all of that in the video. I also wanna show you some mixed case uses, but first, let's just go over the new plugins, right? This is the first one. This is the BDE 120 based off of the Engl Savage 120, an amp that I know pretty well, and I really like. And this is how we have it set right now. You have a few controls on the front panel. Your gain knob, you have a pedal on and off, which is like a boost pedal, and you have your channel. You can switch it between the orange and the red channel, dramatically simplifying all of the controls on the front. This amplifier is very complicated. You know, it's really simplifying those controls a lot. And if you like the tone of an Engl Savage, and you've ever tried using the Engl Savage plugin, and you're like, wow, this is a lot. There's a lot to do here. This really just simplifies that whole thing here. Let's go to actually the orange channel here. This is one of my favorite sounds. Now you might be saying to yourself,
Taylor, that is a lot of gain, man.
That's kind of the point of this amplifier, but you don't need so much gain. You can turn the gain down if you want. Quite a different character. We can even turn the pedal off if we want, maybe mid gain, something like that. So you do have quite a bit of variation, even though the layout is so simplified. Just really makes this whole process really easy and intuitive. Now, of course, if you're familiar with the Bogren plugins, they have the same features that the other ones have. If you're not, let me go over those very quickly. You have a record tool if you want to record ideas, so you can hit this record thing. And it will record your idea. I don't need to save that, but you know, it's cool. It's cool if you just want to riff out with the plugin. You have a metronome for practicing. You have a tuner for tuning. Hey, look, I'm in tune. And you do have an IR selection. Oh, I actually have my own IR load. Let's load up the default ones, right? This is the modern cab. Just huge sounding, right? Go to the vintage cab. Just, yeah, really great, man. Really great tones all around. The vintage cab having a little bit more spike in the upper mids. The modern cab sounding just like a really scooped beef boy. Just good stuff, man. And of course, you can load your own IRs as well. You could do no cab if you want to, you know, run this out to an IR loader, what, I don't know, whatever you want to run it out to without a cab, you do that as well. Okay, we've got the cabinet stuff out of the way. Let's go to the other release here, because yes, they are releasing 2 amp knobs today, not just one. This other one is an amp that I don't own and I'm not as familiar with, so hopefully, you know, if you are familiar with it, you can kind of chime in the comments. This is the Vh4, based off the Vh4. Makes sense, right? I think I like this one with the vintage cab a little bit more. And our noise gate is killing the note here a little bit. That leads me into another setting that I forgot about. But if you go in here, you have a gate. So, you know, you can change your gate settings if you want. You turn it off if you want. And that's like kind of all you really need. The great thing about this plugin is if you don't want to spend a bunch of time, or you're unsure of how to be dialing in these amplifiers, especially in like mixing applications, it really just shortcuts you to a good sound, you know? And to me, these amplifiers, the Vh4 is a little bit more of like a fuzzier characteristic. It's a cool sound. It's definitely unique. And the Engl is just, you know, that's like one of my go-to sounds. I love the Engl Savage. So with all that being said, let's open up a song that I'm working on, huh? Okay, this is a song that I have loaded up in Reaper. And for most part, I bypassed everything on the bus. So that way I'm not coloring everything too much. I just have a compressor here and a limiter to kind of like, you know, keep the volume in check. So here are the guitars soloed. And you can see I'm using the BDE 120 Mark II on these guys here. Those are the settings. It's not a whole lot of settings to look at. And for the bass, I'm actually using the bass knob too. This is actually my go-to bass plugin, like 9 times out of 10. So let's unsolo these guitars and hear what's going on here. And with the guitars, I am processing them a little bit. Let me show you here. Here's the guitar bus. You know, it's not much. It's just like boosting the high end a little bit. Nothing crazy there. Let's go ahead and hear these guitars with the Vh4. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do channel 3 and I'm gonna set this something like that. Let's also go with the vintage cab on these ones. I think I liked the vintage cab a little bit more on the Vh4 plugin. I like this a lot, man. I think it's really cool. Let's just go ahead and turn all the bus processing on so that way you can kind of hear it in its full context. You know, I could really go with either one of those sounds, but the cool thing, the thing I want to illustrate is like how quick and easy that was. You can just throw these things on and they're 80%, 90% even mix ready, which is the really great thing about the one knob plugins from Bogren and the reason that I really like them. I also use them to monitor myself with guitar all the time because I find myself not getting into the weeds of dialing in guitar tones when I just want to be tracking guitar. So the one knob plugins are a really great way to do that because it just, you know, again, it just simplifies the how many times am I going to say this? It just simplifies the whole process, makes it really easy, makes sure that I'm not like going deep on settings or whatever. Okay? All right. That is, oh man, I'm gonna need that later. All right, that's gonna be it for me. I think these are really cool plugins to add into the Bogren One Knob ecosystem of plugins, but like always, I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. Thank you so much to Bogren Digital for letting me check out these plugins early for you guys. Thank you so much to you guys for being here with me. I will see you in the next video. Bye.